Alright, so today we're talking about completing the square, and here's the reading that we had for the day. So we're going to be doing completing the square. We want to get terms in the form of x plus some number quantity squared. That is a perfect square. So we showed a couple examples. X squared minus 4x plus 4 is a perfect square because it can be factored into x minus 2, x minus 2. X squared minus 6x plus 9 is a perfect square because it can be factored into x minus 3, x minus 3. I'll write these down. Or x minus 2 squared, or x minus 3 squared. This would be an x minus 5 squared, and this one would be like an x plus 1 squared. So our goal is going to be to get these trinomials to look like a factored form. Okay? So that's our goal. We want to create perfect square trinomials, all right? So we went through, we listed the steps, and the steps are the following. Okay, 1, if it's in a standard form, move c to the other side. This is c, so we bring it over. 2, divide by a, whatever number this is, you divide everything out. If there is no a, then you don't worry about this step. 3, we'll take half of b, whatever b is, we'll take half that number, and then we square it. Then we add that to both sides. And then once we do that, we'll factor, rewrite, and finally solve. So let's do some of these problems. All right, so let me whisk this away, and let's do example 1. Okay. All right. So example 1. Again, our topic is completing the square. Completing the square. All right. So this is going to be a perfect square trinomial. I'll show you why. Because I can factor it like this. I need x squared, so x and x. I know the multiples are 9 or 3 and 3, so I'm going to use a plus 3 and a plus 3. And the beauty is this can then be written as an x plus 3 squared. That's what makes it a perfect square trinomial, so we can rewrite it as x plus 3 quantity squared. Okay, example 2. If we factor this, we'd have an x and an x to make our x squared. I'm going to use 6 and 6. I'm going to go minus 6 and minus 6 again. That can be written as an x minus 6 quantity squared. That makes it a perfect square trinomial. Okay, now let's see if we can make a perfect square trinomial. So what I want to do is try and find out what this number should be. So our rule said take half of that, which is 5, square 5, and you get 25. So I took half of 10, gave me 5. And I squared 5 and I got 25. How does that work? Now I can factor this into an x plus 5 quantity squared. Okay, let's do the next one without worrying about all the little steps. Okay, so the rule is half of this, which is 7. If I square my 7, I get 49. The reason that works is because now I can factor it into an x minus 7, or x minus 7 squared. Okay. Example 5. What I'm going to do is I want just a plain old x squared. So I'm going to divide out the 2. All right. So if I divide out the 2, I get an x squared plus a 8x plus something. Okay. Half of that is 4. 4 squared is 16, so the missing number is 16, and this will factor into an x plus 4, or x plus 4 quantity squared. That makes the perfect square. All right. Example 6. Let's divide out the 3. I have an x squared minus a 2x plus half of that is negative 1. If I square it, I get a positive 1. So it will factor into an x minus 1, or an x minus 1 squared. That's what makes it a perfect square trinomial. Okay? All right, now let's go ahead and figure out why we use completing squares. So here's an example right here that is going to be difficult to solve, but let's use our reading notes, and let's go through this thing step by step. So what we're going to do is use our reading notes and go step by step by step. So step 1, I've got a 2x squared plus a 20x minus 5 equals 0. Okay? So step 1 says to move c to the other side. So what do we do? Move 5 to the other side. 2x squared plus 20x equals 5. Step 2, divide by C. Or divide by A. And A is 2, so I'm going to divide everything by 2. And I'll have an x squared plus a 10x equals 2.5. Divide 5 by 2. Okay? Step 3, take half of B. Well, B is going to be equal to 10. If I take half of that, it's 5. And if I square it, I get 25. So I'm going to add 25. So I'm going to go plus 25. And it says do that to both sides. So add 25. Okay, I have to do that to keep things balanced. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to factor. So this becomes x plus 5, or x plus 5 squared equals a 27.5. All right? So far, so good. Okay, now I'm going to solve this. My steps say, my reading, it says, okay, factor, rewrite. I did that. Now, solve. Solve. Okay, so square root, both sides, get rid of the square. And I'm going to get rid of the square with the square root, so I'll have an x plus 5 equals, well, the square root of 27.5, I don't know, that's what my calculator is made for. What is the square root of 27.5? There it is, about a 5.24. So about a 5.24. But wait, there's two answers, so plus or minus. Now, we know there's two answers, so we have two mini equations. So I have an x plus 5 equals a 5.24, and I have an x plus 5 equals a negative 5.24. Okay, so then if I solve, I go minus 5, one answer is a 0.24, minus 5, the other answer is a negative 10.24. Okay, there it is. And we solved this equation, would not factor, we solved this equation by completing the square. Okay, all right, ready to turn the page? There we go. All right, well, let's skip example 8 just because we just did one like it, so we'll skip 8. And we'll go straight to 9. Okay, now rewrite in Vertex form. One of the things we've learned is when it comes to graphing, we sure like to graph things in Vertex form. It makes it so much easier to graph. So let's go ahead and rewrite this as y, because you guys don't like fx, but y, x squared plus 6x minus 3. Okay? And let's go through the steps. Okay, fx, y, the same thing. Steps. First step. Step 1. Move c to the other side. All right, so move the 3 to the other side. Move it over there. Okay, so I have a y plus 3 is equal to an x squared plus 6x. Okay. Step 2, divide by a. And there is no a, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to divide out the a. Step 3 says take half of b, so I'm going to take half of 6 is 3. Square that and I get a 9. So I'm going to add 9 to this equation and add 9. So what I did is I took 1/2 b and I squared it, so I took a half of 6, which is 3, and I squared 3 and I got 9. Okay. Now let's see what I got. I got a y plus 12 equals, this will factor into an x plus 3, or x plus 3 squared. If I bring the 12 back over, I'll have y equals x plus 3 squared minus 12. So it's in vertex form. I know the vertex is at -3, -12. Okay, that's one of the reasons we like to do complete and square. All right, so homework, page 345, 8 to 14 all. Good luck on this, and quiz tomorrow. Woohoo, yeah.